From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your morning update.
Cascade Paint and Supply is Reading's oldest family-owned paint store, established in 1953. We are the largest Dunn Edwards dealer in the nation, and most of our products are made in the U.S. Our friendly and knowledgeable staff are ready to answer your questions and help you today.
Well, good morning, everyone. You know, sometimes people like to plan the weekends even as early as Wednesday, right? And if you don't have any plans on Sunday in particular, and your kids might get bored, hey, here's an opportunity for you to get the kids out there and have them have a little bit of fun along the way, and maybe start kind of practicing with their costumes as well. It's the Moo and Boo Open House event. It's the second annual. So this is the second year that they're doing it. Last year was such a great success, they want to do it again. And it's this Sunday, October 22nd from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. It's at 3917 Main Street, Cottonwood. It's behind the old auction yard, as a matter of fact. And it's got free admission. And of course, costumes are encouraged. Now, this is, of course, put on by the Cottonwood Veterinary Clinic and the Cottonwood Small Animal Clinic. So be sure to check it out. They had a great time last year, and they want to do it again for you again this year. All right, take a look at here's the deal. Summer, making one last visit. You know, I've said before, seems like fall is slacking off a bit and allowing summer to hang around a little bit longer than we'd like. And that's the case here for the next couple of days. But fall is getting us act together later this weekend with cooler temperatures, maybe even some shower activity, especially by the second half of the weekend, and then cooler and unsettled for next week. Although unsettled may be pushing it, because I don't see a lot of rain going into next week right now. Here's a look at your forecast for today, getting you out the door this morning. Not too terribly chilly, so you can send the kids off to school with, you know, maybe a light jacket, but all in all, it won't be that cold this morning, and warming up very nicely, if you want to call it that, into the low 90s for the valley. And then for Siskiyou-Modoc County, yeah, you'll probably need to send the kids off to school with a coat, but they can shed it later this afternoon with highs in the low 80s. And Eastern Mountains, obviously cooler there, mid 40s this morning, back in the mid to upper 70s this afternoon. And for the North Coast, you know, there could be some fog out there along the immediate coast, and not to mention for some of the inland valleys as well. But otherwise, it's warming up to the upper 80s. And I think some of the inland areas could touch 90 degrees today. Trinity County may have a more difficult time, but still at least in the upper 80s this afternoon. So that warmer air, it's in place today. It'll peak tomorrow with valley and inland highs in the low 90s. But this cooler air here, fall is making a return this weekend with cooler temperatures and maybe even some showers, especially by Sunday. That moves out by early next week. We're kind of on the high pressure trying to build in, but overall temperatures increasing a bit, but most likely nowhere near the 80s or even 90s for that matter. So again, it's going to be cooler next week. And look at the precipitation outlook. This is looking out over the next 6 to 10 days. And, you know, just yesterday, this was actually showing above normal for all of the West and Pacific Northwest and Northern California, but now backing off. And the chances for rain are starting to get slimmer and slimmer as we go into next week. So let's take a look at what we can expect here rain-wise as we take you into this upcoming weekend. There's the ridge of high pressure, dry conditions through this week. But by Saturday, and in particular by Sunday, we've got that cooler and more unstable air moving in, giving us some showers in the forecast. Now, I think it'll be mainly on the coast, the higher elevations, and maybe some activity here for the valley. But overall, it dries out again. It looks like at this point for Monday into early next week in general. So the wave heights, yeah, they're unfortunately fairly high, around 12 to 13 feet today. And as a matter of fact, as we go into your Thursday afternoon, there you can see still fairly high at around 11 feet. But there is a beach hazard statement here through this evening for the coast. What that means is sneaker waves are a very good possibility. Now, for those of you who don't know what those are those waves that come in unexpectedly. So today is not a good idea, number one, to probably be on the coast. But if you are going to be at the beach, don't turn your back to the ocean, because those sneaker waves can come up and sweep you away very quickly. Not a good idea today to go rock hopping on the shore either, because that can get even more dangerous. When you're talking about those sharp rocks, you can get swept away, those sneaker waves. It can get very dangerous. Here's your marine forecast. North winds at 5 to 10 knots, waves from the northwest at 5 feet at 7 seconds, and from the west at 7 feet at 13 seconds. There's that beach hazard I was telling you about. All right, so here's a look at your forecast for today. It is going to be warming up into the low 90s for most of us in the valley today. So yes, a fairly warm, some might even argue it's going to be a hot day in the valley. Temperatures in the 70s and 80s for the higher elevations, upper 80s for Trinity County. You can see around 88, 89 for Willow Creek and Garberville as well. But again, I think some of you could touch that 90-degree mark, and in the mid to upper 60s for the coast. And as you start heading inland, obviously those temperatures will get a bit warmer. All right, let's take a look at your 7-day outlook. Now, you'll notice here for Mount Shasta and Alturas, a chance for showers on Sunday. Have not included that for Susanville, but that may change. Bottom line is, Sunday's system is not expected to bring us a lot of rainfall. The main impact will be those cooler temperatures. But we're warming up today. It peaks tomorrow. Temperatures start to drop Friday, but still warm. But we're back in the 70s by the weekend. And I do expect those 80s to most likely return by around Tuesday of next week. Mainly dry conditions, but as I mentioned, maybe even on Sunday, the valley may see a stray sprinkle. Here's a look at the coast. Of course, you got the clouds moving in, also warming up the next few days. Upper 60s, could even touch 70 for some of the warmer spots on the coast. Showers on Sunday for pretty much everyone for the north coast, including inland, and not to mention for Trinity County. But it does dry out and warm up a little bit here by Monday and Tuesday of next week.